Hey guys, I hope we're all doing well. I know it's a really insane time to be alive right now, but I mean, when isn't it? I'm doing okay. I thankfully have a comfortable apartment to stay. My job is gonna keep paying me. I work at Universal, so thumbs up to you guys, and I'm just very grateful to be in the position that I'm in. But I also wanted to raise awareness. We really need to be practicing not only gratitude for what we have, but compassion for those families and those individuals who don't have the same blessings right now, who are really being directly affected by this virus, that are living in a lot of fear and a lot of worry and a lot of doubt. Right now, people could especially use your empathy and your compassion. Just because something doesn't affect you, it doesn't mean that it's not real. I think that it's so easy to discard something when your life isn't being impacted by it, but you also have to be mindful and aware that there's people who are really suffering right now and are really having a hard time. I think right now, with the world being stopped, it's a very pivotal point in practicing things that are so easy to forget. And that's kind of what I'm taking this as, is that I think that this is a very big lesson for everybody. I think that everyone can kind of grow together and look at this and come out of it stronger, because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And as long as we could see that, and we can see that this is an opportunity to grow with each other and through each other, we're gonna be okay. I also think that this is a period for healing. Whatever situation you're in, this is a very good opportunity to heal and to grow. A way that I'm going about my healing is talking to you guys. And I actually have a story today. It's gonna be kind of a story time video. I was in the closet for 21 years. So yeah, this is a how I came out story. Don't make fun of me, I know, super 2010. But you know, it's really real. And I was closeted for a very long time, and I was very uncomfortable with who I was because of how I grew up. And I've been out for a year now, and I am so much better than I was when I first came out. Because I think that when you first come out, or I know when you first come out, all of those feelings that have built up and subsided inside of you for such a long time come to the surface, and you feel all of that sadness and the grief and the resentment and the bitterness and the anger and all of those things that just built up because you weren't being honest. And now you really have to deal with it. And listen, marijuana didn't work like it used to, because that shit was intense. I'm still going through it in ways, but I've come such a long way, and I'm very thankful for that. It's something I went through, and if somebody else can see it and they're either struggling with it or having a hard time accepting the feelings that come with it, I just want you to know it's okay and it's normal. So 21 years in the closet. How the hell did that happen? What was I doing? Like, why? I grew up in a Lady Gaga era. Like, how did I not come out? I watched Glee. I actually ended up going to a fucking theater college, and I spent 3 years in that college still closeted. What? What was I doing? Why couldn't I come out? And the simple answer is the Catholic Church. Now, I don't want to point fingers. I'm not saying that Catholics are evil or wrong or bad, but you know, they have... The one that I went to had a very outdated way of thinking. But yeah, I grew up in a Catholic church, and I went to a Catholic school, and you know, the teachings were
Man shall not play with man.
and I believed it because I wanted to be good with God. If to have a relationship with Him meant that I couldn't express the side of myself, I would just have to be okay with that. And for a while, I guess I was, or I was in denial of it. I mean, I was still looking up Cody Cummings, but I was like, you know, that's not me though.
That's just a side. I will grow out of it.
I really thought I was gonna grow out of it. I didn't. I love dick. Bless the world for that dick though. Just gotta be honest. But yeah, where was I? Cody Cummings, in the closet. I was okay with it for a long time. But on the inside, I had feelings that I wasn't expressing. And because I was never really being honest with myself, I can never, be honest in life. Like, I was always trying to hide something, and I feel like when you're hiding something about yourself that's so crucial and so important to your character, it just becomes easier to lie about everything else. To be a dishonest person means that people have a harder time trusting you. And I had a lot of very strange ways of dealing. I think I would just act out. Like in college, I remember my first year, I would just pull these crazy pranks. And I think it was just to rattle people up a little bit, because on the inside I was so chaotic that I just wanted to project that chaos outward so I could feel some type of normalness. This is why this helps to talk about it, because I've never said that before and it actually makes so much sense. I was a chaotic little man. So how did I stay closeted, and why can I just get over this belief, and why can I accept it as, this is who I am? And it goes back to that I just wanted to be right with God. It's important to me. I think that's where the manipulation comes in. I think that when you have somebody, like me, I have, I'd say I was born with a pretty pure heart. I don't want to pride myself on that. That's weird, but I think that I have a heart that just wants to be good. And when you're telling somebody this is the way to be right, and it is what it is, you just kind of believe that, And I guess I really was brainwashed for a very long time. It's sad, because people still are brainwashed out there. And I hear them talk, and I'm like,
Listen.
I actually went to church a few weeks ago, and I think when it really clicked for me that
This is insane.
was when the sermon was talking. I meant to say pastor. The pastor was talking, not the sermon, just ignore that. And he sounded like fucking John Travolta. And he was like, now, a family has to consist of a man and a woman. Because a woman is nurturing, and a woman, she has tickle fights. My wife, when she plays with my son, they have tickle fights. And a man, he wrestles. When I play with my son, I wrestle with him, because I'm getting him ready to wrestle with God. What? Shut the fuck up. Here comes the anger. Here comes the anger, sis. That is so outdated, and it doesn't make any sense, and you are literally saying that it has to be this way or that way, and if you do not fit into that category, then there's something innately wrong with you, and that is what you have to fix. Bitch, you don't have to fix that. What you have to fix, whatever inside of you makes you feel guilty for who you are. That's what you need to fix. Trying to fix people for what they're born like? I'm sorry, this is getting a little angry. I'm gonna move on.
5 hours later.
I don't fuck with that religious shit.
Because it is very clearly insane. So anyways, back to how I came out. So, 3 years go by in college, and, I stayed true to what I believed, and I drank a lot. I would get blackout drunk. I'd be blackout drunk and I would cry, and people would be like,
Why are you crying?
and, because bitch, I'm sad. I'm really sad and I'm frustrated, and I'm missing something in my life. I think when I was going through college, I thought it was a lot better than it actually was, because, I was having fun and drinking, but now looking back, that was so, I want to say synthetic. I feel like that was synthetic fun because it wasn't real. Blacking out and having a good time and surrounding myself with fake friends because that made me feel okay. Whatever. It's over now. We live and we learn. And, I think that the time finally came at the beginning of my senior year when I said, I cannot do this anymore. And I told myself, I am bisexual. I told myself multiple times, Dane, you are bi. And then I looked up at the sky and I said, God, I'm bisexual and I don't understand it, but that is what I am. And the more I said that, the more comfortable I became with that, reality. Because before I had never really said that to myself. I had it in the back of my head, but I never admitted to myself and, actually used the word bisexual. And then I did, and it felt pretty good. And I think when I started saying it to myself, I started to have the desire to share this with the people I cared about. And, you know, my roommates at the time, which were my friends, and my best friend back home. I really wanted to start sharing this so I can, you know, start growing in it. And, you know, this shit came out because I was so on edge all the time. I think one time I dropped a piece of toast and I was like, fuck you, toast! And I was like, that fucking toast! All I did was drop it. What did the toast do? So my roommates were clearly like,
Bro, I think you need to talk about something.
and I was like,
Yeah, I do. I'm not gay.
and they're like,
Oh, so you're gay.
moving on. That's not how I actually came out. But, you know, I eventually had a conversation with my roommates. So they talked to me and they said, Dane, like, you can be honest, whatever it is, just like, come out with it. And I was like, yeah, it's time. But in the back of my head, I was like, you know, I really want to talk to my best friend about this. And next thing you know, my best friend FaceTimes me. Instant manifestation. My best friend FaceTimes me. I'm like, oh, I guess it's time, bitch. So I answered that phone and I said, hey girl. I was like, it's so funny you're calling because like, I need to talk right now. So I go out in the hallway and we're talking and I'm like, I just need to like tell you something about how I feel and like who I am. And I don't know how to say the word right now. She's like, I know. She knew. She's like, I know. It's okay. I was like, I think I'm kind of definitely 100%. And she's like, it's okay. You don't have to say it right now. I was like, okay. But you know what I'm getting at? She's like, yes. And that felt so good. It felt so good because for so long I had not told a soul about how I was feeling. I had not told anybody, and to finally tell someone and for it to be my best friend was just like the biggest form of fucking therapy. Then I went back to my room and I told my roommates and we went outside and we talked about it and now 3 people know and I'm like, okay, this is great. And then I couldn't sleep that night. I actually stayed up the whole night with terrible anxiety because I was like, oh god, because the reality was setting in that, oh fuck, oh bitch, oh god, I like dick and everybody knows. I mean, it was only 3 people, but I was like, damn, it's happening. Like, it's out there. Like, people know. And, you know, it's just those people who knew for a while. And I started coming out to more people. And I didn't come out to my family yet. I wasn't ready for that. But I started coming out to more people, other close friends, and just like normalizing it with myself and bringing it into my reality. And that was very like, it was very powerful. And the next thing you know, I had this class. It was called an entrepreneurship class. This YouTube channel was created from that class because I came up with the idea to talk to people on YouTube for my business. I don't know if this is going to be a business, but you know, here we are. I guess something happened out of it. So I go up there and talk about my YouTube channel. Like,
Yeah,
I want to, you know, make a channel for people who are struggling and deal with anxiety or depression. And, you know, I could share my experiences and like, you know, talk about my confusion with my sexuality. And the whole class went silent because they were like, is this really how this boy just came out? What? And yeah, dropped the ball. No one was very surprised. People like already knew. They were just like, why the fuck did you choose now to come out? Like, this is so strange. And yeah, I came out and then everyone knew at my school. And the next step was to tell my family. And that took a little while. Not as long as I thought it would, because I went home for Christmas break and I kind of had a feeling that my mom would catch on to it before like I had to say anything. And I was at home and we were driving home from Target and my mom was asking me if I was, you know, interested in anybody, if I was interested in seeing someone, if that was a thing. And I told her, actually, no, not right now. She's like, okay, well, like, what is it? Like, do you want girls or guys? I was like, yeah, you know, maybe both. She's like, oh, okay. And it was this understanding that me and my mom lacked for so long because she always sensed that something was off. She always knew I wasn't being honest and she knew what it was about. And she had her ways of like trying to pull it out of me. They weren't the best ways. I'm I'm sorry, Mom, but some of that shit you were saying was wild. So yeah, that's how I came out to my mom. And it was a very comfortable situation. And again, I'm so blessed to have a family that was understanding. And my dad understood, and you know, my brothers were really awesome about it. And you know, things started to feel right after that. They started to feel like they were falling into place. I still had a lot of shit to deal with. I was kind of going insane for a little while because I had all this anxiety and all of this fear and all of this like these crazy dreams where I was literally dreaming of the church burning, and then I had a dream of a priest telling me that I am forsaken and that I am to be banished because I have the power of Juno. Who the fuck is Juno? That pregnant bitch? I don't know, but I was having crazy ass dreams for like a long time after that, and that was just all of the pent up feelings and emotions just like coming out, and it really made me feel like I was going insane. And not only that, but I was also graduating college, and there were just like the fears of, you know, being on my own for the first time and living in California. There was just so much going on in my inner world that like I felt like I was losing it. But thankfully, I'm an optimistic person. So even throughout all of that, I still knew inside that I'm gonna be okay, because this needs to happen. This had to happen for me to get to whatever the next stage is. And I think the next stage right now is just healing. And I'm looking to a bright future. I guess the point of me making this whole video is that even when things seem insane, you need to remember that it is happening because there is something that you are learning right now. And you need that lesson to move on and excel in the next stage of your life. Because we're not here to be happy little clams forever. That's not what being human is about. It's just the truth. We all have to suffer, we all have to go through it, and it is just part of life. And I think right now the world's going through an insane time, and it could sound very ignorant to say, oh, well, just look to the future, man. It's gonna be good. But it's not ignorant. It's optimistic, and it's hopeful, and those things you need, especially in these times. So, my friends, heal up, see this as a period to grow, and love yourselves every day. Also send prayers and good energy to everybody who needs it right now. Please. Okay? That's all I have to say today. Tuning out.